How do you do, fellow kids?
It's Friday, November 10th.
It's a day two.
I'm Jada.
And I'm Jimmy.
And here are your morning announcements.
Hey, Jada, do you like to shred some powder, dude?
I'm not quite sure what that means. I'm not really hip and cool with the kids.
Well, if you like to ski, there'll be an interest meeting for this year's CB ski trip at Le Massif, Mont Sainte-Anne, and Stoneham. The meeting will be today at the beginning of lunch in room 231.
Lakehead University will be here today at lunch in room 215.
There's also a brief meeting for the senior girls basketball team today at lunch in room 208.
To all grade 12 students applying to Queen's University, if you have an overall average throughout high school of at least 90%, you should apply for the Queen's Chancellor's Scholarship. To be considered, you must submit your application to Miss Badgery by November 13th.
Are you an international student applying to the University of Toronto? Why not apply to be nominated for the Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship? Applications are due November 23rd. See guidance for more details.
Tryouts for grade 10 to 12 girls interested in playing volleyball on Tuesday, November 14th at 7:30 a.m. and Thursday, November 16th at 7:15 a.m.
That's it for us today, Colonel Vi.
Here's your Memorial Friday show.
Father's name was William Robert Shaw, and he was born in Hoxton, a small town near Lake Simcoe. By the time he was 5, he was the eldest of 3, and his dad had died of appendicitis, so he had a mom with 3 little kids under 5. He didn't have an easy life, very hard, even as a child, and certainly through school. And eventually, the war was declared, and my dad signed up. He was posted out west to Victoria. My dad was on a Corvette patrol ship off the coast in international waters, off our western coast. They were patrolling against subs. They were not the only ship, of course. And he was out there for, I think, 3 years. He ended up with the rank of lieutenant commander. He never, ever spoke about the war. We knew virtually nothing about his role, and it must have been pretty scary at times. And I think this is common with veterans. They kind of just put it on the back burner and just move ahead with their lives, and that's what my dad did. He volunteered because that's just the way he was, and I think a lot of young men of the period signing up in droves, and it was just understood that that's what you did for your country. There was no question. They basically, I think, them and their cohorts kept our West Coast safe during that whole war period, because it was well known, it was well patrolled, and they never really made any inroads over there. These are the people who really deserve support, especially the ones that came back damaged, either physically or mentally. These are the people that really, really have earned Canadian taxpayers' dollars to make up for what they've lost, protecting us.
Yes, I spent 14 months in Korea, which was what we signed on for, as a special force that was raised to help the United States and South Korea repel the North Koreans and the Chinese. 5 of us went from my high school, decided we'd go and join up together. And 4 of them made it. I was too young. You had to be 19 to go overseas. And I was 18, and this was June of 50. So they said, we'll call you back before the end of the year because your birthday's in October. So they called me in time to go to basic training in 1950. I started basic training in 1950. And shipped across to Korea after doing advanced training with the Americans in Fort Lewis near Seattle. I was an infantry combat medic, and at 19 I wasn't prepared, I guess, mentally for what I saw. When I joined the Army, I met a young fellow from Sherbrooke, Quebec, was killed in Korea. He was attending to an infantry guy that was wounded, and the Chinese and Koreans overran the position and just dropped a grenade on them. Everybody thought I was crazy except my wife. She said, you were happy when you were in the Army, you're not as happy now, so go ahead. So I rejoined at my first overseas commitment after that was in 1958. I am on my way to Egypt. And I went to the Sinai for a year. I came back from there and was posted almost immediately to Germany. as a part of the NATO force there. And my family went with me. We spent 3 years in Germany. After that, I received another posting back to Egypt. So I did about 10 months on that tour. The first and second tour, I did both of those first one as a private, the second one as a corporal. I went to Egypt for a third tour later, much later, and I went there as a major. Sessions that I could go to and represent the city, represent the military, and we had a good arrangement with the city of Ottawa, and they named a park after me. I thought that wouldn't happen until you're dead. And then they also gave me a medal called Honours Ottawa. The thing that I'm most impressed by is Canada. We have a wonderful country. It treats everybody decently. All our needs are met, and we occasionally have little skirmishes between political parties, but I mean, it's nothing like what happens in other countries. So I think being a Canadian and serving in the military as a Canadian reinforced my strong belief that Canada is the best country in the world.